All right, so our calling in the ring segment for our newer listeners. I know there are at least a couple of you. Uh, our call in the ring segment ends every show with a free-form segment that's different every week. You're going to get something brand new, brand spanking different. You never really know what it's going to be from week to week because we won't tell you what it is. So you have to tune in to find out. See, that's marketing, I think. Um, but yeah, this is our first episode back. Brand new season 2, episode 1. Brand new year. Still not even halfway through January 2025. So we decided, in the spirit of the new year, we've got a whole year ahead of us. Thinking back on the year behind us, what would we like to see more of in the wrestling sphere in the year to come, and what would we like to see less of? We're going to try and be as positive as we can about this, though. Just because we want to see less of something doesn't mean we're going to just be peeing and moaning for 5 minutes. We're going to try and keep it upbeat because that's while it's against our natures, we are cynics really at heart. We are trying to do this to be better, more positive people, and we want to improve the wrestling space, not just for us, but for everybody. So, with that in mind, Aaron, we'll start with you. What would something that you would like to see more of in wrestling in 2025?
Okay, so in 2025 in wrestling across all promotions, and I think this is probably the coldest take in the universe because I think it's one that everybody's had for a while, but I want more women's wrestling across both promotions that we cover.
Yes, yes, yes,
Gosh, I
yes.
want more
Total
women's
agreement.
wrestling. Despite the fact that there's a couple of people that I am not that are generally liked that I'm not a fan of in these divisions, I want more. Like, okay, we have two women's divisions for the stuff that we covered that are just fantastically stacked to the
Top
brim
to
with
bottom.
amazing talent. Amazing talent. We have so much talent in the women's divisions that in some cases, uh, like the women's mid card division of AEW, kind of eclipses the talent of the men's mid card division of AEW. And I'm not saying that the men's mid card division is bad or even that much lesser. I'm just saying, like, what I'm interested in, what's really catching my eye, what's really making sense storyline wise, and what's having good, consistent stories and matches is the women's divisions across both companies. I want more. Stop stop giving. Okay, I'm not downing on Will Ospreay. I love Will Ospreay. Okay,
Yeah.
but stop giving Will Ospreay 30 minutes at the beginning of a show, and then the following women's match gets 10. Like, stop that. Like, let's give them 30. Give the women the exact same. I mean, I'm not saying maybe go as far as like splitting the show so everybody has an equal number of matches. I understand that there's a lot more men's wrestlers on these rosters than there are women. I understand that. So I understand, like, but maybe one more match per show for the women, maybe two
Yeah.
instead of one, maybe give them more time, maybe just concentrate more on the women's divisions. Like, if we truly want wrestling to be an equal space and truly want people to take women's wrestling seriously like we do now,
Yeah.
we got to give them more time. I want WWE to go back to having that Evolution pay per view every year. And I need AEW to do at least one like it. I know that we don't want to, put these things in direct competition with one another, but by God, both of them need a women only pay per view. Okay, we had a women only thing here at the local indie every year called Babes versus Breast Cancer. It was always one of our most well attended shows. Always one of the places where we made the most money, and we were proud to make more money on that show to give to the breast cancer research charities than we were to, be profitable in a year. Um, it, Even if you don't make these charity shows, though, you should at least give it back. Like, let's get Evolution needs to come back. Women's wrestling in AEW needs to be concentrated more on. Maybe give them a pay per view. Maybe split All Out and All In. where one's a
That's a
women's
great idea. I
one's a
like
men's
that
show.
idea.
I just I really like we gotta have more. Like you have too much talent to ignore it at this point. We cannot limit the women time wise or number of match wise anymore. I mean,
Hell, you know what? I would even take one of those Battle of the Belt specials, rename it, and have it just be all women, and
yes,
have those
yes,
like quarterly.
yeah. I mean, if anybody,
Something.
and if anybody wants to say this won't work, bullshit. NXT has been doing it for a
Yeah.
whole year. They've been,
Yeah.
and it's been good. And honestly, you know what? Like I used to kind of laugh off when Adam Wilborn on What Culture consistently says like NXT is one of the best products in wrestling, or it is the best product in wrestling. They give everybody equal time over there, and it's a fantastically good wrestling show. As far as shows that AEW fans would like if they ever went back to watch WWE, I suggest all AEW fans go back and watch NXT. Just go back and watch NXT. You don't have to watch Raw. You don't have to watch SmackDown. Watch NXT if you want to see a wrestling show and you want to be able to support both companies. Like, just do it. And you're also going to get that level of women's wrestling that you want. You're going to get the level of graps you want because these guys are all super seriously talented. They're not down there for no reason. Um,
Not
so,
anymore, anyway.
but anybody saying that like there's no feasible way to change the wrestling landscape in this way,
That's
bullshit.
garbage.
NXT has been doing it for over a year. Somebody who books one of the major two, like Triple H, needs to pay more attention. That Sean should be grabbing Triple H up by the collar, like, look what I've done, copy it or something. Christ, you know.
It's so funny. It's so funny too because I remember when Sean came back. I remember all the rumors going around that he didn't even want to be like anywhere near any of the women because he was afraid of his past. You know, he
Mm,
was born again Christian. He didn't want to be tempted and all this stuff. And now look at he's like a dad to like all of these 20 something incredible female wrestlers.
yeah,
Like
I will.
I wouldn't have called that in a million years.
No, I won't go so far as to say NXT has the best and most talented women's division across the three rosters. I won't. But I will say that the way the NXT women's division is presented is the best presentation of a women's division across even New Japan and TJPW and Stardom, and like I know some of those are women per specific promotions, and NXT is still doing their women's wrestling better. I'm sorry, they just are. They're putting the women alongside the men as if they are equals, and nobody else is really like, as much as we're saying the women's revolution and we love women's wrestling and all this stuff. Women are still only getting 15 minutes to an hour for the men on each show, and they're not being presented equally. NXT is doing that. So what I want to see across the board, across everywhere, is more of that. I would even I wouldn't be, because I know WWE won't do it. I know they won't, just because of the way they operate. But I wouldn't even be opposed to the idea of Tony like opening a developmental company that is just women, like a Glow or something like that, because he would be the one to do it. I really wouldn't trust TKO and Triple H to do that. But I feel it would be safe in the hands of like somebody like Tony Khan. So why not? Um, but then again, I also want Athena on AEW television and not ROH. Uh,
Yeah.
so yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that we could shore up in both of those divisions. There's a lot of pluses and minuses on everybody's women's division. NXT is doing the best presentation, and I think everybody needs to at least follow suit and get on par with that over the course of the next year, if not exceed it, as far as presenting the women goes. Because to put it simply, like I stand Willow, we stand Willow around here.
Oh, absolutely.
There's not a lot of dudes in any company that I consistently root for in a way that I root for somebody like her. And that's an indication to me that they need more time.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so yeah, that's what I want to first and foremost, what I want to see more of in wrestling this year is more time for the women, please.
Well, mine goes kind of hand in hand with that. to a degree. Um, it's something that I feel is cyclical. Um, it used to be, especially in AEW, it used to be a big part of their identity when they first hit the scene. Tag team wrestling was an enormous part of their identity. It was main eventing shows. The tag team title belts meant something. And not that it doesn't mean something with Private Party. It's a good step in the direction. But like, there's so many working parts of any wrestling promotion that if you're paying attention to one thing, invariably, not everything is going to get equal attention. And I understand that. But considering what tag team wrestling meant to AEW's specifically identity and
Mm-hmm.
how much WWE, it's meant a lot to WWE at various eras. And people tend to love those eras and love those tag teams in particular. That should be, again, an indication that there's something to be mined there,
Mm-hmm.
that people will pay to see tag team wrestling. I know Vince's mindset was, well, why do I have to pay four guys for one match when I can pay two guys for one match? I get that from a business perspective,
Mm-hmm.
but what if that's the case? Why have tag team wrestling as part of your product at all? You know why? Because there's still an audience for it. I'm that audience. I love tag team wrestling so much. There have been so many great tag teams, and they're just as legendary and notable, and have as many moments that have been made in the history of wrestling. I mean, often they've been the top draw of a territory. Freebirds were the top draw of any territory they went to. You know, it's not. I just see such a lack of focus on it. You know, that there's a little bit more focus now, but I want that to ramp up. I want there to be the focus on it like there was in 2019 in AEW. I want it to be a major part of the show. That if it's not main eventing, it should be semi-main eventing and have accompanying storylines that justify that placement on the card.
Mm-hmm.
They have way too much talent on their roster. They have a huge bloated roster. Why not pair off some of those guys? And count the trios in there as well. Like, pair off a bunch of those guys. If you got nothing for them as a singles creatively, shove them in a tag team or a trios team with somebody. Get to that Attitude Era mentality, and I can't believe I'm invoking his name, but the one thing that he did right, Vince Russo gave everybody a reason to be on the show. It may not have been a good reason all the time.
No.
It may have been a silly, stupid reason sometimes, but everybody had a motivation, everybody had a character, and everybody had a story. We should try to get back to that. And one of the big ways to do that is to create and sustain and foster tag team and trios wrestling. That's a big thing that I would love to see coming back in 2025.
Right. That's literally on my list. Actually, also more
See, this
concentration
is
on tag
this is
team
why I
division.
told you to do more than just
Yeah.
that, just in case we had overlapping stuff.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All
All
right,
right.
so Aaron, it's your turn. We'll do the sandwich thing.
Mm-hmm.
What is something that you would like to see less
Oh
in
man.
wrestling in 2025?
I sometimes I'm the hot take guy and sometimes I'm the cold take guy. I think because I don't think I'm alone in this. It might be a lukewarm take, but I want to see less factions in 2025.
Yeah,
I want to see less factions, man. Like I would ideally love it if like WWE could pare down to where the only faction is the Bloodline, and AEW could pare down to where the only faction is the Hurt Syndicate. Um, I I've just had it with factions, man. Like I'm not down on them. I really like some of the stuff that's come out of some factions. Like I like the conglomeration as a group. I don't like that name.
I
Um,
I think it's perfect for them because it's a dumb name for a bunch of weirdos.
Yeah,
I think it fits them perfectly.
like I don't think it ever needed to
You
be
and I differ
official
on that.
though. I don't think it ever
Yeah,
needed to be official. I like the conglomeration, but
yeah.
like I don't need obviously the House of Black's kind of on its way out. We've done things this week to make Buddy Murphy and Brody King both look like, I'm sorry, Buddy Matthews and Brody
You
King.
pulled an
I did
osprey.
it too. But we've done things this week to make them both look like they're headed into a singles career. And Julia obviously could go and do her own thing anytime. Um, so we're
I would actually like it if she still kind of had an association with Brody, though.
Oh, I would love if they
I
stuck her and Brody
I
together
love
again.
their dynamic, that the like
I do too.
brother sister dynamic. I think it's great.
Yeah. So I like that, and I hope they keep them together. But like we can see that House of Black's on the way out, and now
Yeah, yeah.
like we've got the conglomeration, we've got the Hurt Syndicate, and we've got but like I mean we can flip it on its head too for WWE. It's the same over there because we've got the Bloodline and we've got the Judgment Day. We have two separate Hispanic specific factions, which is weird that there's two of them. Because with the latest developments in the tag division, neither of them are heels now. Like the Garzas
Eh,
are kind of like playing a role of faces because they're kind of unknowingly caught in the middle of DIY schemes. So that kind of makes them a face because DIY are like
yeah,
the
because they've got
brain
sympathy
heels.
because they were
Yeah.
screwed.
And then the other one has Rey Mysterio in it. So of course they're a face faction,
Oh yeah,
period. Um,
yeah. Nobody's gonna
so
boo him unless he's the last guy in Daniel Bryan-less Royal Rumble.
pretty much. So yeah, but they've also got Judgment Day, and I don't like Judgment Day. We've already talked about that enough, but um, it's just I feel like I want people to be paired off into trios and tag teams, like you said, so that there's more concentration on tag team wrestling and trios wrestling across both companies. But I feel like maybe we drop a bunch of the labels and just put people together. Like I kind of like the way that I don't kind of like it. I really like the way that Tony Khan transitioned Top Flight out of being this 5-person group into being two separate tag teams that don't like each other.
Yeah,
I
that
love
was
the way he did that.
that was low key one of the better stories of the last half of the year that nobody's talking about. I thought
I
it was
don't
really well done too.
I hate their jackets, but I don't think anybody's talking enough about how Action Andretti and Leo Rush are a fantastic tag team.
Yeah,
They
they
are
were made for each other.
really good. Yo, they were. They were. It was like they were born in the same freaking womb, and one of them is like one of them is just this super aerial athletic kid, and the other one is a super good vet who knows his way around a ring, but moves unlike anybody else in this business, and he is so fast,
I
quicker than
know
a
he's
hiccup, as
incredible.
Jr. would say.
He's incredible. Leo Rush is incredible.
He really is. This tag team's really got me coming around on him, but it's mostly because I don't like his personality. I think other angles and stuff he's done have leaned too heavily on his personality and too little on his wrestling. I am coming around on him now because we're leaning heavily on his wrestling in these tag team ventures, and I like it. It's good.
Yeah,
I mean, the man
yeah,
really does move like nobody else in the business. I've never seen anybody who works a match like he does. He does some of the craziest reversals. He takes moves in ways that I was just not aware you could take a move that way.
yeah. The
Like,
way he just moves around the ring, evading things, and
mm-hmm.
walking on his hands. Like to using his lack of stature to his advantage.
Oh yeah,
It's
yeah.
brilliant stuff. He's a brilliant wrestler.
Yeah, so like I want more of that, I guess. But less factions by way of let's break up some more of them into tag teams. Let's break up some more of them into trios. Let's kind of shave down on the factions a little bit, guys. Like WWE needs to do it, but factions have been like a part of AEW's backbone since the very beginning, and so I
Yeah,
understand how this might be a difficult proposition, especially for Tony himself or a hardcore AEW fan to get behind me on this. I could see why they'd be like, no, because that's kind of been part of AEW's deal. Is like they love factions like WCW loved factions, and I that's cool with that. Like I don't make comparisons between AEW and WCW in a bad fashion. I loved WCW. I was a WCW boy.
Me too. Me
So
too.
when I say AEW is like WCW, that's out of love because I loved WCW. I like that they are similar. I enjoy it. I'm not Eric Bischoff over here saying he's fucking up the same way WCW fucked up. No, no. They're alike in the best ways. In the best ways. So, but I kind of understand like Tony's mindset. I think he's also a WCW boy.
Oh, he absolutely. It's very apparent.
Yeah.
Like, it is
So I mean,
very apparent.
Sting, come on. What he did for
Yeah.
Sting, bringing Flair back even when he shouldn't, like I mean, he's
Uh,
obviously a WCW guy.
with as many uh, uh, successes across all different avenues that Tony Khan has had with AEW, I think personally, at least to this point, his crowning achievement is the way he handled Sting from beginning to end. Everything about Sting's handling was, well, with the exception of the Ric Flair stuff, but everything else was perfect. It
Yeah.
was absolutely perfect
Um,
and befitting of a legend of his stature.
being the level of Sting fan as I am, because I mean, down in here, there's still a little stinger.
Oh yeah,
Um,
hell yeah,
being the level of Sting fan that I am and loving Sting as much as I do, that actually, the way he handles Sting and Sting's retirement and the way he booked him and everything he did is one of the reasons why I still am watching AEW and why like I didn't let other fans or anybody else drive me off despite, like being aired out a couple of times by famous Twitter people because of my opinion about AEW. Um, it's one of the reasons I still watch because he
there's a
showed
lot of equity that he bought from fans like us with his treatment of Sting because he loves him just as much as we love him, maybe
exactly.
more.
Oh,
I
probably way
mean,
more.
maybe
I don't
more.
have, you know,
like,
way more.
like,
Yeah, but I mean,
I
still,
mean,
I just
it's difficult to not get behind somebody who loves the same things and people that you do and
mm,
loves it so openly and passionately and can do something about it.
yeah,
TK's in a position to do something about it, and he gave Sting just the best send off.
mm,
Like I was crying by the end of the night. It was emotionally evocative, and that's the best thing
mm,
about professional wrestling is when it's perfect like that and it makes you feel all of the emotions.
mm,
Like there's when it fires on all cylinders, there is no entertainment like
yeah,
professional wrestling.
yeah. But yeah, I mean, so for this year, I just want to see less factions. I think it can be positively spun though. Like I want to see more tag teams and trios out of those factions, or on WWE side, I want to see more of those guys stand on their own two legs. I want the Garzas to be a tag team and not part of not somebody else's lackeys. I think they're a great tag team. They shouldn't be Escobar's dogs. They should just be a good tag team. Akam and Razor are good at being dogs. Like there's a difference, like
Yeah, yeah,
so I want to see more less factions and more tag teams and more trios, and I think that can be
yeah,
positive fun. And that I just want to see more of those things. But I do want to see less factions. There's just too many, man. In both places, they're just,
yeah.
and some of them don't do anything for months at a time. Like, why are they even a thing? If they're not even booked for 6 months. So
Yeah.
let's do some rearranging and kind of clean up that stuff. But yeah, what about you?
Uh, you know, you just said a minute ago, sometimes you're the hot take guy, sometimes you're the cold take guy. I'm going to be the cold take guy. This is a lofty goal, but I would very much like to see a reduction in WWE versus AEW tribalism. It sucks. It
Man, I'm so
sucks so much. Like, I get the reasons why people don't want to watch WWE because I'm one of those people. But if you've noticed, I don't harp on anybody's decision to watch WWE. In fact, I invite them to watch WWE if that's what they want to watch. I also invite them to watch AEW so that we have something to talk about. But I don't dissuade anybody from watching WWE. I don't go out of my way to harp on the reasons I don't. I will explain it if I'm asked, but I don't judge anybody for following them for any reason, really. Um, the judgment comes from how you do it. Like, I hate people picking a side as if that means anything. Like, it's just not. It's like people saying, like, they they feel like it's like their team. It's like the okay, the Yankees are my team. They're not. You don't play for the team. You're not getting paid. It's you don't own it. You don't operate it. You don't have any way any way in. It's not your team. It's the team you root for. It's not
Yeah.
your team. These are not teams. They're just wrestling companies, okay? And everybody has a finite amount of time that they can spend watching it. They should be able to choose to watch whatever they like, however they like. But you do not have a right to blast anybody for the decisions they make on simple viewing pleasure. Like, I like AEW. Okay. And like, well, tribalism does literally nothing. It doesn't fuel the industry. It doesn't make anybody feel good. It and those wrestlers, the majority of the wrestlers that you are so busy defending, they just want everybody to get paid. They don't care. Most of them don't care as long as they and their friends can make enough money that they can feed themselves and their families and make a nice living and be comfortable. That's the majority of them. So those people that you are so vehemently defending are laughing at you for your behavior.
Yeah. Because there's very real possibilities in the world. Like, I mean, go back 6 years from today. 6 years. Okay. AEW doesn't exist yet. The Young Bucks have had a tryout match at WWE, and it didn't work out. Kenny Omega was supposed to be part of the deal, and all of that didn't work out. Okay, let's change the timeline. It does work out. Are these same people still holding that same energy?
No.
Not at all.
No.
No, they're watching WWE every week with the popcorn dog. And they love WWE.
And furthermore, half the people who are employed now are not employed because there's only one place to work and make that kind of money.
Exactly. Like, I mean, but still, it wouldn't change it. They're not going to only watch New Japan. No, they would definitely watch Kenny and the Bucks.
Are those people going to watch TNA?
No. And line up 30 people right now, and all of them could say, I watch TNA, and I'm going to believe too.
Yeah, I'd be giving the people's eyebrow, every single one of them.
Yeah. You watch, okay, really? So what's going on over there? Because I don't know. But
I know very, very little about TNA.
Yeah.
I know enough from the dirt sheets to kind of follow along with who the champs are, but that's about it.
Yeah. Like, okay, I have a real world example of this tribalism. Okay. Like because I saw it just the other day and I was kind of like, what the hell? At one of the Christmas time house shows for WWE, I guess Rhea Ripley had a match or tag match or whatever, and she was goofing around and like twerked in the middle of the match.
Okay? Oh yeah, I saw the TikTok on it.
And there were people like going, "Oh, that's terrible for women's wrestling." And when someone mentioned it to me, I was like, "Do those same people keep that same energy when Mina Shirakawa starts shaking her chest on AEW?" Because it's basically the same thing. It's both of them just moving parts of their body because they're having fun at their job. And so if you're not keeping the same energy for both of those things, that's what we're talking about here. Yeah. So, for me, it's just like, let people enjoy what they enjoy. Cool. Okay, don't make it hard for other people to enjoy things. Like
Exactly.
there shouldn't be people flooding the WWE hashtag on Monday nights to tell me that I'm a piece of shit for watching Raw. Like it makes it hard
No.
to exist, and it happens even on Blue Sky. Like it makes it hard to exist.
Yeah. I
Um,
understand that a lot of people on Blue Sky were chased away from Twitter and found a home there. And so
yeah,
they probably feel camaraderie. They probably have a little bit of PTSD, if we're being completely honest. And so I understand the defensiveness,
yeah,
but that doesn't that doesn't condone you chewing out random strangers on the internet for something that they're sitting at home watching, not hurting anybody. Like just be
exactly.
it's what do they say? There's no ethical consumption under capitalism anyway.
Exactly.
Everything has caveats, things you don't know about. Okay, like just because TK, seems to be one of us doesn't make him any less of a billionaire.
I mean, if we want to open a
Okay,
can of worms on TK, we can talk about his involvement in the NFL and the problems that the NFL has historically had as an organization, and it can start right there.
yeah,
I mean, we could all open cans of worms on each other, and we just shouldn't. Like,
no,
just
because
enjoy what you enjoy.
nobody wants to be swimming in worms. That's
No,
disgusting. We're not the
nobody wants to do
boogeyman.
that. I'm not here
Come on.
to fucking dunk on AEW fans because I am one. But
Yeah.
even if I wasn't an AEW fan, I'm not dunking on AEW fans just because I watch WWE. I mean, I watch both. There's not a lot of people that exist in the sphere that I exist in. It's a weird Venn diagram section to be in. Um,
You
because
happen
there's
to
not a
have a
lot of
lot of time.
there's not a lot of people that have the time and the will and the want to do both. And sometimes I don't. Like if they are overly featuring Logan Paul or somebody like that, I don't want to do it. But at the same time, like I just like I feel the hate on certain aspects of WWE and I feel the hate on certain aspects of AEW from tribalists on both sides. But we have to understand, especially like on Blue Sky over here, where I live for social media, like all of us were driven away from Twitter by that bullshit.
Yeah.
It wasn't
Don't
just
bring that here.
it wasn't just the AEW guys. It was
No.
those of us from WWE who aren't mad at you for watching AEW. We're also sick of all of that. We just want a regular wrestling discourse also, and it should be afforded to us and you as well. It's not exclusive to one side and one platform, and it should be that way on Facebook and Twitter too. But it's fucking not. Like I
No.
explain these problems to my wife, and she's like, it's the exact opposite for her with WWE fans on Facebook. Like they're real dicks over there, and they're always shitting on AEW. So I can understand why all of the AEW people have kind of moved to Blue Sky. I get it, but there is a pretty fair amount of people who watch both or do just watch WWE over on the Blue Sky side. That we got driven away by that stuff too. We should all be more understanding of one another. We
Yes.
should all, I mean, it should happen on all platforms, but especially here where we have a chance to really create the community that we want.
Hmm.
This, I hate that side shit has to stop. We got to start with we're wrestling fans. We like to watch wrestling.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So let's finish this off with each having one more thing that we want to see more of. So what do you want to
Okay.
see more of? What else?
Well, let's see. We got a few minutes left, so to make it quick, um, okay, I'm going to get AEW specific here just to prove to you guys, like, I love AEW also. This is something I want more of, and I'm just going to be fun with it because it's something I can be short about. I don't have to make it all long. I want more Daddy Magic on commentary. Can we please
He's
just
great.
always have Daddy
He's
Magic on
great.
commentary, please? He is. He's so great.
He's got
I love, like,
such energy.
he's
I've
smart
never.
ass as hell. I need him
Yeah.
and Nigel all the time. I
Yeah.
always need him and Nigel on the same desk. They play off each other so well. Daddy Magic is like the smartass good guy commentator, and Nigel's the smartass bad guy commentator. And you can stick Tony Schiavone or Excalibur in between them. I would prefer Schiavone for Collision and Excalibur for Dynamite. And I that should be your three-man teams right there. But I always need Daddy Magic at the desk. And I kind of always need Nigel at the desk, but really, I just want to see more. Nigel's always there, so I want to see more Daddy Magic. I just I don't need him to do anything else. It would be cool if he got back in the ring. I would root for him because of his time on commentary, but I need more
Yeah.
Daddy Magic on commentary. That I really want. I love him to death on commentary. He's so funny,
I don't
and
understand how a a Quebecer like him sounds like he's more from my neck of the woods.
that's what I thought too. I was like, he has
Like
like this
he,
New York accent.
yeah, it's him and RJ City, who's from Toronto. They both sound like one. Daddy Magic sounds like a like somebody in the mafia, and RJ City sounds like somebody you'd be meeting down at the Jewish Community Center. Like it's very strange. I don't know what's going on in Canada. They all want to sound like New Yorkers for some reason. um, no, I love Daddy Magic. He's great. I'll keep mine short too. Also AEW specific, no surprise there. I want more from Renee Paquette, not from her performance. I want acknowledgement because everybody knows that she's married to Jon Moxley.
Oh boy,
Jon Moxley is an attempted murderer, and nobody is calling Renee out. Why?
bro,
She should either not be on TV or she should be persona non grata with everybody that she works with because of Moxley. So I love Renee. I think she's a doll. I think she's one of the most professional, one of the most with the most gravitas interviewers to ever do it. I think she's incredibly talented. She shouldn't be on TV during this Death Riders thing.
No.
Either that or she should be run up a rail for her association with a known attempted murderer.
Now, question: do you think maybe they're waiting for it to be Eddie to be the one to bring that up? Just based on the history, because Eddie's the one who always brings it to her. Who's like, what the fuck is wrong with your husband? It's always Eddie when anybody says that to her because Eddie's apparently the only one who knows him well enough to say something like that to her.
Yeah, I mean it maybe, but I feel like that time has passed.
I think so too. I think about it every week. I'm like, you're talking to people who are actively feuding with your husband. You say nothing.
Yeah,
you act like he doesn't exist.
Yeah. Oh, I'm trying to keep her professional. What, dude? Your husband is doing things that are way beyond professional. Like, how do you not? You need to bring it up. It needs to be addressed in whatever form that takes. It needs to be addressed. I want it to be addressed at some point before the Death Riders things runs its course. It needs to happen.
Yes,
I don't think that they should make like a divorce storyline or anything. I don't want any part of that. But I do feel like she should be like, maybe I should recuse myself from the situation.
I agree.
And that would be like, hey, call up for Lexi Nair. Awesome. Go get it, girl.
Yeah, I agree on that. But with that said, that was our Call It in the Ring for the week, and that was our season 2 premiere. We appreciate everybody who's listening. We will see you next week before Raw as usual. And remember, we love you. Be better, do better. It's a new year.
Come on. Peace out.
Peace.